Hello everybody and welcome to Victoria 2, where I'm hoping that this is all going to work. I have done the conversion, and if this doesn't work, you won't see this, but hopefully you do. So we're just going to hit this. Also, this audio is maybe a little quiet. I had to reset this. Like, this audio fluctuates quite thoroughly, this main theme, in terms of how loud it is. We're going to leave it there, see how that works. Now, I have to preface this by saying I am nowhere near as proficient at Victoria 2 as I am at Europa or Crusader Kings. Let's throw that out there. I have played one game of Victoria 2 in total on the channel, and that was also as Ethiopia, but a very different Ethiopia. A much, much less powerful Ethiopia. Let's just dive into this single player mode and see how this... Oh my... Well, that seems about right. All of these wastelands, are they going to remain wastelands? I don't know. Ethiopian Brazil is over here. This is Inca. This does look like this actually correctly imported. You can see here this went to 5 January 1821 instead of 2 January, the end date. That's because I did tick forward those 3 extra days. So we're going to accept this. And we can see there's some gaps up. Actually, that's Belu 0. That's not a gap at all. Poland has some gaps up here. Alania, Yarkand. This all seems to have imported correctly. This is Pratyharis instead of Revolutionary Pratyharis. Now, I left all of the options on the default with the exception, and it is a notable exception, with the exception of clearing out sub-Saharan Africa. Now, I don't think it actually matters, because we controlled all of Africa anyway. But I did not check that option, because I just didn't know what was going to end up happening there. But this all looks correct. We are going to be playing as Ethiopia. I have no idea if we're even going to be unpausing this episode. This might just be familiarizing ourselves with this situation. This is quite a situation. We're going to hit the play button and see if it crashes. Adapting history. And here we are. This is the terrain map mode, and this is actually absolutely fine for right now. Actually, let's hop into the political map mode. Ethiopia is blue in this game, and actually it is in Europa too, but the Europa converter brought over the tan color from Crusader Kings, which was why we were tan. We're blue now. This light blue, and it is wonderful. Now, this is France over here. France is a great power. They're free. It imported France as free. They're not in our sphere. They're not a satellite of us. They're allied with Colombia, Newfoundland, and the USA. Ah, Ethiopian Canada got renamed to Ethiopian Newfoundland. Okay. Is this the USA? Yep, this is the USA. They are satellited from us. Okay. Newfoundland is also our satellite. Is this still Ethiopian Newfoundland? This is Ethiopian Cascadia up here. Okay. This over here is Colombian, or this is just Colombia, but that is technically Ethiopian Colombia. We hold that as a satellite. Ethiopian Brazil is also our satellite. Excellent. Now there's this little bit of uncolonized land over here. That was uncolonized in Europa too. It was just completely surrounded by Inca, and so nobody could get at it. This down here is the Falkland Islands and South Georgia. Is this owned by us? South Georgia is owned by us. The Falklands are owned by Traplandia. Okay. We own Ascension. These islands are pretty much all ours. That is expected. We did colonize those. Bermuda is still held by the Aztecs, amusingly enough. Okay, so it did import all of our armies here, although it cut them roughly in half. Fair enough. We can see that we can expand our armies pretty dramatically. How are we doing on our current manpower? We can field 0 brigades if we mobilize our poor citizens. We're on Jingoism Warp. Oh, we actually imported as uncivilized. Fascinating. Can we westernize? We're 35% of the way there. Okay, so we can pass some reforms here. We're going to have to westernize. I did not expect that because we had all of the institutions. That's a little baffling. Okay, so all pops would lose a militancy, we would gain 2 prestige and 10 research points. Yes. The Nagusa Nagast. Fantastic. We've had one of those for a very long time. Okay, so many newly settled territories want to achieve their independence, post-colonialism. That would be the USA and CSA. Okay. They would gain all that as cores. I'm not sure we want to do that. Viceroyalty of Lombardy Venice, no. The Geneva Convention will pass on that too. Okay, we could release some nations. We are definitely not going to do that right now. We're continuing our imperialism. This is not necessarily the game for that, but it's an option. So these cost like 10,000. How much research points are we getting per day? Clergymen are providing 1 research point currently per day. Okay. We definitely want to work on that. There's no doubt about that. I'm just trying to remember how to play this game right now. Okay, let's see here. If we were to... Yeah, we can't build army in these locations. We're currently losing money per day. A fair amount of it. Okay. And that money is primarily going into the national stockpile. I think we will just cut our national stockpile spending for right now. We can always come back to that a little bit later. Let's leave this at, say, 15%. And then for construction, I want that maxed for right now. For education, we want to produce as many research points as possible. Let's bump that up to max right now, because we're going to need to westernize. That's going to be a huge deal. As far as admin goes, I mean, our administration increases our tax efficiency. Might be something we want to do. We're also going to need to crank up our taxation. There is no doubt about that. And I think we're going to sit at 75% taxation for right now. We'll see how that shapes out in terms of our actual income. 75% across the board. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a bit on the high side. We can reduce our defense spending. Potentially. But I think we'll come back to this. Okay, so we have these decisions that we can take. I kind of don't want to. And I'm just wondering, yeah, these former wasteland locations are actually uncolonized. So I'm just wondering how we go about doing this. Do we need to westernize before we can do that? Let's check here. Maybe. I can't remember what we need to be able to do this. I know you have to be a great power. There's no way we're not a great power. I just can't believe it imported us as uncivilized. That's bonkers. We could bump up tariffs, although I kind of don't want to. I want to keep our tariffs about at even. And we could cut our education spending, but I really want to be maxing that out. Get those research points ticking in. And now it could be that this is going to update a little bit when we start ticking forward. That's a possibility. It also could, in theory, be that our armies are the problem. These guys are currently located in Maple Creek, which is held by us directly. Okay. These are really awkwardly laid out in terms of their divisions. Okay, what's our supply limits around here? 35 here. We could head over there. We could, like, combine together our armies at this point. Potentially combine them back together. Supply limit is 40. Yeah. And then we can re-standardize them. Now, France, we definitely want to think about attacking them. We could produce a justification for them. Cut them down to size. Force them to disarm. I mean, honestly, place in the sun. Acquire an enemy colonial state. Disarm and pay reparations. Okay. That'll cost us a diplomatic point. Yeah, we don't have a justification on them currently. I definitely want to attack France. There's no doubt about that. Let's see here. We've got the European third over here. I think I'm just going to group these together. And we're going to... How do we rename it in Victoria? I don't even remember. It can be edited. Ah. It puts it at the beginning. That's a little awkward. Oh, it did not put that at where the cursor was. That's exciting. Okay, I'll have to learn how to handle... Oh, let's just retype this. European third. And then we'll call this Iberia. Okay. So that's the European third Iberia. So we need to find somewhere where it can be stationed and not take attrition. Like there. Fantastic. Now, this game does have a manpower system, doesn't it? I can't remember. Okay, these guys need to be grouped up, and that is absolutely fine to do that there. So yeah, these will be size 40. Now remember that there is a difference between the brigades in this game and the regiments in the last game. Those are 1,000 troops. These are 3,000 troops. So that's the core difference there. And that's why we are seeing such a reduced number of troops here, because these are actually in terms of numbers of brigades. Okay, so we're going to move over here. We're going to group some of these up. This is Newfoundland's army. This is not ours. Okay, so the supply limits are interesting, to be sure. They look okay for now. We're taking attrition over here. I mean, we're going to be taking some attrition. There's no doubt about this. We're going to have to figure out where we want these to go. Supply limit of 30. We're going to have to find new station points. That is definitely going to be the case. Supply limit of 40 over here is reasonable. And then that would be a supply limit of 40. Yeah, that's fine. This is actually the Indian First, Div B and A are together here. We're just going to rename this to the Indian... Actually, we're going to call this... No, the Indian First is fine, but where do we want this to be stationed at? Probably Nalore here. And I'm just going to include the station point in parentheticals there. Realistically, we should probably have this be Salamanca rather than Iberia, unless we want this to be regional, in which case the Indian armies would have to become Asian armies. Unless we want to count this as a subcontinent. We could just simply have this be the Indian first north. That could work. Now, where is the other Indian south division for the second? Let's check here. Indian second, this is Div B. We're looking for Indian second Div A, which is currently... Ah, yes, we had conquered this. Can we bring these back? We have some transports here. There's only 18 of them. Okay. And away we go. Fantastic. So let's check supply limits over here on Madagascar. There is a 40 over here. Okay, we'll group those up. We are going to need to colonize a little bit of the African wastelands over here to get Africa back under our total control. But overall, this should be reasonably fine. I'm just looking for our other armies. So this is the African 6th over here. And we're going to have this stationed in, like, Mombasa. So this will be the African 6th, and we'll... That red cursor is kind of hard to see. Have this be in Mombasa. Like that. Now, we may be able to expand some of these to include some supply limit increases. I'm not sure how supply limit increases are done in Victoria. It's province growth, province migration, population, life rating. I know it's in here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. Okay. For now, we'll just leave that off. Okay, so the African 2nd is currently over here and should get grouped up with the African 2nd Div A, and we will have these be... Let's see, I'm just checking supply limits. These are all 40. Okay, that'll be fine. Hello. It imported our general. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, the African 1st is currently up here. Or these are the Asian 1st, actually. What am I talking about? Yeah, that's the Asian 1st, Div A. That's fine. The Asian 2nd, Div A. Yep, that's fine. This is the Asian 3rd. And we were having trouble finding a decent station point for them, but I guess that'll do. Okay. And yeah, we're just going to have to find a standard loadout for these armies. This is currently 9,000 infantry and 4,000 artillery with no cavalry. That imported a little strangely. Okay. Well, I do want to let it tick forward just a little bit here. Okay. Ethiopian no-culture citizens. Yes, I did have a warning about this in the importer. It thinks that that was a problem potentially with our import from CK2. Population will be changed by -200 because they're of no culture. Yes. Welcome to Victoria 2. Welcome, player, and thanks for having used our EU4 to Vic2 converter developed by a team of fans like you. You're currently playing as an Ethiopian king in Genoa, that is accurate. Playing before 1821 could cause issues because some countries lack parties and technologies are unavailable to research. Well, we're in 1821. If you spot any error or you wish to help with translation, please contact us. You'll also be greeted with the event The Syrian Question, about cultural borders in the Middle East, and the decision The Post-Colonialism, making it possible for American borders to develop historically. If you choose the post-colonialism, you'll also witness New World countries declaring independence, sometimes out of the blue. That being said, I wish you a good gameplay. You'll now have the option to choose our observer mode, if that's what you want. Thanks, I'll keep playing as Ethiopia. Okay, more no-culture citizens. That was in like 7 or 8 provinces. So we expect some of this to happen. Yes. Now I'm just watching our current budget here. We laid claim on the westernmost corner of the Egyptian desert. Okay. I mean, yeah, we definitely own that. So in order to send an expedition, this is still grayed out. Okay. I'll have to look into how to do that. But for now, we're currently working on none of these. And we have 1.48 research, but we want to be working primarily on our reformations first. We did get a bunch of research points in the last little while. Our clergymen are currently 0.68% of the population. 2% is optimal. There is a focus that we can do on that. And I'm trying to remember where exactly that is. Our people's ideologies are mostly conservative, some liberal, some reactionary. Okay, 85% conservative, though, in the upper house. That's fine. Was that on a, like, per state basis? Oh, national focus here. We want to promote the clergy for right now. We're going to encourage clergymen. And that's a national focus. But that only promotes it in Mozambique. Close enough. Okay, so I want to tick forward here a little bit because I want to be looking at our number of research points right now. Okay, so it's going up by that 1.5 per day, as expected. I want to tax our people a little bit more. And by a little bit more, I mean I want to tax them all the way. And we're going to cut our military spending down to about here for right now, so that we're actually making money. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Now we're making money. Fantastic. Okay. So, that is very, very good. And we have a pretty big monopoly on quite a lot of trade goods. Rather, is the term I'm looking for. Now, we can't really do too much. We need tech more than anything. Our tech is currently almost nil. We have one army tech, post-Napoleonic thought. And in terms of navy, nothing. Commerce, nothing. Culture, nothing. Actually, it wasn't post-Napoleonic thought. We already have flintlock rifles is what we have, I think. Yeah, that's what we have. Now, we can't research until we westernize. Which is fine. We do need to westernize, and to do that, of course, we need to get our reformations done here. We already have foreign training methods. We already have land reform. We already have imported weapons. So we need, let's see here, 10,960 for admin reform. And it's a little cheaper for advanced constructions. Ooh, civilization progress of 35%. That'd be nice. Okay. So our first and top priority obviously needs to be westernization. I wouldn't mind destroying ourselves a little bit of France. Now, we can't really justify a war to do much other than, like... I suppose we could free people? Or liberate the country. We'll see what that does. I'm not sure if that's actually a conquest CB or not. The Syrian question. Yeah, the converter can't really differentiate between the Syrians and Iraqis. This event is just a dummy to fix this. Maybe you should have coded it before. Shake my head. Okay. I don't think that's very relevant, because we already control all of that area. Okay. We were detected trying to justify against France. That's fine. I want to check our justification here. There is a way to see it. Actually, I think it's from this view, isn't it? Or maybe it's from our diplomacy? War justification. Yes. Excellent. Because I want to finish our conquest of France that we started back in Crusader Kings. I want to move these guys maybe down over to Kalmar. Because we're going to need to be working on being ready for that. This is the European first, and we will call this the European first, and then we'll just say, like, Northern Europe, or maybe just North. Okay, there we go. Now, we are going to have to bump up our military spending before we do this war, of course. But, this is going to be interesting. I do want to check in on our reformations. Yeah, we're at 1336. It's only so much we can do. But this westernization is absolutely going to need to be a thing. At any rate, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We've done a little bit of ticking forward, some familiarization, and I'm attempting to remember how to play this game. For now, though, you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time after I tell these guys to group up a bit. There we go.